Other people's opinion say absolutely nothing about your worth or who you are. Have you ever found yourself constantly worrying what other people might think of you? I've definitely been there, and today I'm sharing some strategies with you that help you shine your light brightly and unapologetically so you can live life on your own terms. The goal is not to not care at all anymore. It's actually really good that we care. Why do we care so much? We care because we want to belong. We want to be seen, we want to be heard, we want to be understood. And that's a totally normal human thing to do. What we want to stop is that caring too much. Then it gets tricky because when we start altering our behavior depending on which people we are around, we're not being our true selves, we're not speaking our truth, and we're not authentic. Believe me that I am the expert, I used to be the expert on everything analyzing people. I would worry so much whether people would like me, what they would say behind my back, to the point where I would go home after certain conversations and would not be able to go to sleep because I would replay the same scenarios in my head and alter the answers I would give them. Like, oh, if I would have just said this and this, they would have probably liked me better. You know, sometimes it's just a reaction that you're getting and you're not sure what it is, and we just start over-analyzing, and it's so not helpful. A big part of caring too much is also people-pleasing. Saying no, standing your ground, standing in your power can be really hard. And I think what comes with it is if you do find the courage to finally say no as a people pleaser, that already feels like a big thing. Like, oh my God, we have accomplished this. We said no and we're standing up for ourselves. But then the thought spirals happen of, oh my God, now I said no, but what will they think of me? Did I let them down? Will they never ask me again for anything? Are they mad at me? All of these things, and that's where we get into the caring too much about what other people think. Then there's also the fear of being seen and judged by other people. And I think that one is a big common thing because we want to experience new things, we want to put ourselves out there, we want to grow, and that comes with new territory of people that we admire or more people that can judge us. And therefore we almost not want to try at all because we're thinking ahead. If I do this and it's really not working out that great, what will other people think of me? So let's get into the tips. Tip number 1, you're not that important. Okay, don't get me wrong. If you watch my other videos, you always know I'm rooting for you and I'm always preaching you are enough and good as you are right now. You don't have to prove anything to be worthy or anything. The thing though is that we're really not that important to be on other people's mind 100% of the time. We are not as important as we think we are. If we mess up, if we try something new, we fail, we do something really embarrassing, we think all the other people around have nothing better to do than just talk about us all day long. And the truth is, everybody's so busy with themselves. Nobody is going to judge you and make it a priority out of their day to really think about you all the time. We're not that important. I'm not that important. That's just how it is. If you remind yourself of that fact, I think it takes a lot of the pressure away. I'm going to give you an example out of my life, so maybe you can relate to that. I take a lot of dance classes, and there was one dance class in the very beginning when I moved to the US that I remember messing up a lot. So in these choreography classes, you would learn the choreography, and then at the end, to just have a better overview, the teacher usually splits the class into several little smaller groups. And I was already so self-conscious about not having the choreo that I was so in my head, and I was like, I'm gonna mess this up, this is not gonna work. So I was trying to hide in the back, and then there was another round and the teacher pulled me to the front or to the center of the group. There was also somebody filming it for Instagram or social media, and I forgot the whole thing. I was just standing there panicking in my head. I was like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. I remember going home and I was so frustrated and so upset that I messed this up, that I had a lot of negative self-talk. In my head, I would beat myself up about what all people in this class would think about me messing up this choreography. It didn't get better until I was talking to a friend who was also in class. I was like, oh, I feel so embarrassed. I feel really so bad. I think everybody's talking about me because I really messed it up. And she's like, I didn't even notice. I was like, what do you mean? Like, I forgot the whole thing. She's like, no, I didn't see it. Because what happens, if you've ever been to a dance class, usually people practice on the sides. They don't really care about what's going on because they're so worried about themselves getting the choreography. Let me know if you have a similar situation that you might be able to relate to. And leave them in the comments. I would be really interested. These are one of these examples where we just think that everybody will talk about us. And yeah, maybe in that moment, some people were like, oh, okay, look at her. She forgot all the choreography. But it's in the moment. Nobody's gonna think about this in a week and still be like, oh, do you remember Miri when she messed up? Like on April 12th, 2017? Nobody's gonna do that. While we think we're the center of every conversation when things like that happen, the truth is that people are just so busy with their own lives and they're just moving on. Tip number 2. Let them. If you hear somebody talking bad about you, if you notice somebody judging you, if you notice somebody criticizing you, let them. I know a lot of the times we're in our heads and we think people are judging us nonstop. It's mostly in our heads and people are so busy with their own lives. But of course it does happen, right? And it's not a good feeling being judged, being criticized. And a quote I really like is, don't take criticism from people you wouldn't take advice from. This is so powerful because people are judging sometimes just for the sake of judging. And another thing that I always like to remind myself is, if other people judge you, just remember they can do that, but they're just putting themselves down. I like to remind myself of the phrase, if they're judging you, that does not make their light shine any brighter. It doesn't serve them, it doesn't bring them anything, it just puts them down. If there's a group of people gossiping, sometimes there is this false sense of security within a group of gossiping, like you feel this weird closeness to each other while you gossip. But it's actually just hurting yourself. It doesn't serve you, it doesn't help you. Doesn't make you a better person. It actually does the complete opposite. Because rarely when you gossip, you feel great afterwards. At least I don't. I think we also need to understand that people's judgment or their opinion about you is not a reflection of you. It has nothing to do with you. It's a reflection of themselves. People that judge, people that are negative, people that put other people down are in a negative space themselves. They can't help but put other people down because that gives them this false sense of security, of community. But their opinions do not define you. So again, other people's opinion say absolutely nothing about your worth or who you are. Absolutely nothing. Tip number 3, shine your light, aka embrace the cringe. Okay, we all have quirks, we all have flaws, we are not perfect, and that is good. Look at your group of friends, look at people you love, look at people you look up to. They all have certain flaws and mistakes. We still love them. We are so hard on ourselves and we don't allow ourselves to be cringy and weird and be embarrassing sometimes. I think a lot of the times when we think something we did is really embarrassing or we failed or it's a big deal, it is just embarrassing, a failure or a big deal because we gave it that meaning. We give it that much energy and therefore it becomes this big ginormous thing. If we embrace that we are not perfect, that we're allowed to learn, we're allowed to make mistakes, we're allowed to reinvent ourselves, then that can give us more opportunity to be nicer and kinder to ourselves and just be also nicer and kinder to the world. Accepting yourself also means being kind to yourself. There's not another person in this world that you will have this much conversations with. There's not another person in this world that you talk to as much as yourself in your head. So make sure that it's a nice place, that it's a kind place. Look through the lens of your best friend. If your friend messed up, did something embarrassing, failed at something, you wouldn't go to them and put them down even more. You would try to uplift them, maybe distract them, and then say, you got this, I believe in you, let's try again. And I need you to do that for yourself. It takes a lot of work, but you got this. Make your mind a nice, supportive, beautiful space. My friends, you are good enough as you are right now. I believe in you, you got this. Shine your light brightly, shine it unapologetically. And if you need help setting healthy boundaries, I think you should watch this next.